Guys, good morning. Good morning. Welcome aboard to the Morning Note. My name is Carlos Garcia, founder and CEO of G.A.R Capital. It is Monday, March 14th, 2022. Before we begin, bottom right-hand corner of your screen, little white logo. Click on that. Turn on notifications. Subscribe to our channel. Like our videos. Make sure to hit that thumbs up. Really do appreciate it as always. Hope everyone had a nice weekend this weekend. Let's go over the markets. We got a lot to cover today. The Dow is up 240 points. We're pretty much green overnight. We were a little higher over the morning, right around 6 in the morning. We had a little bit of a sell back down, but again, the markets are still up. Nasdaq is down on some headlines that did come in. That Monday, 13 Chinese Air Force planes entered Taiwan's air defense zone. There was a note that came in today as well. Let me see here. Incredibly this is from streetinsider.com. I retweeted it. There's a paywall, but it says some investors are already positioning for a China invasion of Taiwan. These four semi stocks would suffer the most. Let me see if I can find that on Bloomberg. Make sure I can get that. Let's see. Don't have any headlines on it. Let's see. Let me go ahead and Google that. I'm going to Google Taiwan Citibank. And let me go ahead and Citi Taiwan. I'm still Googling it for you because I want to get the exact details of this Citibank talk. So that was a month ago. Citibank near sale of Taiwan consumer banking business. But I don't have anything that says anything regarding Taiwan or Citibank making a note about Taiwan. So that's a paywall. Obviously, we know that we talked about this months ago, saying that the Russia-Ukraine thing, yes, obviously that's important in terms of the geopolitical spectrum. But again, the Taiwan is the big deal. This is why the United States has to be kind of tough with its sanctions, because if China starts doing anything crazy with Taiwan, there is no NATO for Taiwan. Granted, the United States does protect Taiwan, but again, that's what would make things extremely, extremely complicated, since all of our tech, like Apple, Taiwan Semiconductors, Nvidia, Amd, Micron, with Taiwan, that's a big deal. Again, you're talking about a big issue in terms of getting supply of semiconductors that are already having issues with the supply chain. So again, you're talking about these names that are going to take huge hits. I believe that's the four they're talking about. I don't have the exact details on Street Insider what exactly that is, the four stocks, because it only gives me a preview. I should see some more details on that Citibank note. Maybe it should come up on Live Squawk or something like that. If I find something on it, this is from Citibank analyst Christopher Danley. Let me see if I can find this on Google, because this is a really important article to read. Obviously, there's some important news, so my apologies. Yeah, that's strange. There's nothing out there. So in terms of the actual Citi analyst that talked about it, Christopher Danley, just 1 month ago he said my top semiconductor pick is Micron. So that could have changed. If I find something, guys, I will definitely let you know. So just want to give you the heads up on it. So let's go ahead and take a look at the rest of the futures. Nasdaq is up really flat. On that news, Apple is down pre-market. You could see on that 151.86. That's what's really holding down the Nasdaq, but the S&P is up. S&P is up 0.51%. Russell. Take a look at crude. Crude is up down 4.5%. I was kind of talking about that oil definitely is the next short for me. Again, remember, I was long oil. Taking a look at XLE, a break of 72.78. I'm taking a look at some downside. A break of 78.30. I'll look at definitely some more upside. But again, I expect oil to at least break $100 a barrel. Taking a look at XOM, a break of 81.51 would be nice on XOM. $83, is it terrible? The problem is that there's the moving average right there. Maybe if we break 83, you could possibly take a look at the 82s. But I would say 81.51 would probably be the most confirmation of a downward trend on XOM. Taking a look at CVX. So again, I am watching oil. You can see CVX is testing that 100-day moving average. Let's go ahead and see if we break 164.37 to the downside. I definitely want to see if I can hit some puts here. So let's see here. One more Oxy was bought more share. Oxy's shares were bought up as well. Some more shares by Warren Buffett, and you can see the stock is still down as well. So let's go and take a look at MRO. This is Marathon Oil. You can see it's starting to get a little heavy. So a break of 22.39. I'll definitely take a look at possibly some 22 puts, 21.5 puts, but 22 would probably be a really good target, if not 21.5. So again, I'm watching crude and see if we get a little more downside. If we go ahead and bring up crude on the daily, this is crude futures. You can see we still have a little more left, right around 101.77. That's your 200-day on the daily. That's a big level. That would probably indicate a new trend to the downside. You can see oil is now around 20% off its recent high. So that's definitely, well, we're right probably 19%. That's a bear market in oil. So again, let's start looking at opportunities. We went long, let's say last July, been saying oil's gonna hit $100 a barrel. We broke above it, got to 130, and now we're going back to where we need to see maybe around 90 or $80 a barrel to maybe stabilize the market. Gold is down as well. You could see we've been riding gold for a little bit now. Gold hit a high of 2,078. There's the 200-day moving average right around 1937. So 1931 for me, if a breakdown below that, that's where it gets interesting, and I can start taking a look at possibly shorting gold as well. So a lot of opportunities. This volatility, guys, volatility is your ally. Again, it's a tool. Again, it sucks when you're a long-term portfolio holder, but if you're a trader, you live for this kind of stuff. That's why the option market has definitely got a little more exciting lately. Difficult, but exciting if you know what you're doing. Take a look at silver futures down 1.95%. Euro dollar's up 43 pips, 109.57. 117.92 for the dollar yen. That's up 66 pips. Bitcoin is up 1.46% on the future side. Ethereum up as well, 1.86%. 10-year yield is above 2%, 2.082%. The dollar index is down a quarter point, 98.87, and the VIX is up about 1.43% this morning. Let's take a look at some pre-market movers and then take a look at some headlines as well, and we'll answer some questions. Pre-market movers, the big one is really Apple. Apple's down 1.97%. Chinese stocks, tech stocks are down. NIO down 5.35%, down about 15.21 now a share. I do own NIO and I do own Alibaba. Those are the only two China stocks I own. Chevron down 3.22%. Microsoft up 0.5%. JP Morgan is up 1.21%. Boeing is up 1%. Walt Disney's down, and so is Coca-Cola. On the S&P, Ford Motors up a quarter point. They were talking about making, really pushing EV. AMD's down 0.86%. You can start seeing that the semiconductors are starting to take a hit. You can see that oil is taking a hit. Apple, with its exposure to Taiwan, that's taking a hit. So Tesla as well, they're down 1.8%. JD.com is red, 7.48%. Meta's down 0.5%. Nvidia down 0.77%. Qualcomm, again, you could see the sectors. So again, we could start taking a look at these semiconductor names that we could short. Remember, AMD we did short as well. So AMD may have an opportunity for us. We hit AMD, I think, last week like 4 times. So let's see if we get a break below 101.31. If that does break, I'll definitely take a look at the 100 puts. If not, the 98 puts or whatever is available out there in terms of volume. But 101.31 is our level. Let's take a look at Nvidia as well. Nvidia, let me see here. There is a gap to fill right around 216.54. So let's put 216.50. That'll fill that gap and see if we get a little more continuation to the downside. Maybe we can start taking a look at the 200 puts. But again, right now, when you're taking a look at the market, the IV, which is the implied volatility, because we have the Federal Reserve FOMC on Wednesday, more than likely we're going to get a 25 basis point hike. Keep in mind, with that being said, we're going to have a lot of juice in terms of put side. A lot of people are positioning themselves to the downside. So let's go ahead and go over the headlines here. Germany raises alarm as COVID infections surge to record levels. This according to Bloomberg. COVID-19 cases climbed up to 1,543 per 100,000 people. The incidence rate climbed to almost 2,770 in the Netherlands, and Austria more than 2,000 in Switzerland. So the hits just keep on coming for Europe, unfortunately. Let's see here. Alibaba crashes 11% in Hong Kong as Selloff continues. Tencent possibly facing record penalty in China. Cities pulling out of Russia. Goldman Sachs costs and lowers year-end S&P target to 4,700. Likes energy, health, and dividend stocks. Morgan Stanley's worried Mike Wilson says if price overshoots to the downside, 15x PE multiple, SPX could shoot to 3,500 to the downside. The Fed remains hawkish. Recession risks are elevated. And one more piece of a number here. Nasdaq 100, which is a QQQ, is having its worst quarter since the fourth quarter of 2008. When it fell 24%. And remember, the last time that happened, we bounced pretty nicely. So a lot of bearishness out there. Citi sees hawkish risk at FOMC meeting on Wednesday. Says there's a chance of a 50 basis point hike back-to-back July and June and May and June, excuse me. So UK's Johnson urges Saudi Arabia to raise oil output. So again, oil's taking a hit there. So a lot of stuff going on. We have a very, very, very big week. You can see obviously with the volatility this morning. The only thing I have open right now, I have some MU puts. I believe they are the 70 puts. We are down nicely. So again, we should be able to catch that. I know it's a mouthful. Good morning. Let's answer some questions. Good morning. Leonardo, every day always asks me about SPY. So I love that. Let's take a look at SPY together. Again, remember, SPY premiums are going to be expensive, Leonardo. So just be careful. A break of 425.40, I would probably wait for a little bit of confirmation on that. Maybe 425.50 to the long side. To the downside, really what you need to look for is a break of 420. And then 420, you could possibly take a look at the 415s. That are probably the only one that's probably cheap, to be honest. You think BABA, XPEV, and NEO can continue to dip or rebound the next days? It could be volatile very quickly. Again, NEO's down, Alibaba's down. You know, about $80 a share now. Wow. It was $86.71. I mean, you're at pre-IPO levels. You can get as low as around $62. So again, until the the geopolitical situation kind of stabilizes, I'm not really looking to buy anything because we may have more downside. So again, we can start getting to 4,000, 3,800, 3,700. Again, why would you want to buy here if I could buy a little lower, if anything? Now you probably say to yourself, well, Carlos, why don't you just buy shares and rebuy? Well, the thing is that if I sell shares, I have to pay capital gains tax just because. No, I'm not trying to time the market. I'm chilling. I will wait and see for opportunities out there. Right now, my focus has been completely options and futures because when a downside market, you really want to go for options and futures. When you have a bull market, you're looking at more of your investments as well. Options and futures are obviously nice during a bull market as well. But for the most part, you're looking for opportunities to trade. That's what I'm looking at. Let's see. Hi, Carlos. Any thoughts on, oh yeah, I already said that. BABA with the least in fear on Chinese. I'm not worried about Alibaba. I think Alibaba is a great company. Obviously, there's a lot of headline risk, but we've seen that with so many companies out there. And what happens down the line, years pass and they bounce, they stabilize. Not every company, but I believe Alibaba will as well. So, and again, it's not a huge position. I am down on it about 65%, but most stocks are really down. So it's not like it's Alibaba centric. That's the only reason I'm really holding it. If it was just Alibaba taking hits, JD was fine, XPE was fine, NEO was fine, then yeah, I'd be concerned. But it's a Chinese-wide issue with their companies. Good morning, Uncle Carlos. With rates up today, are you looking to look at banks today? The only issue with banks, and I do love me some banks, is the fact that we have the FOMC on Wednesday. So if we trade banks today, we better get the hell out of it on Wednesday. That's the only thing I'm concerned about. I don't mind having a runner for Wednesday, but I don't want to hold a position open on JPM or Goldman Sachs or anything. Now, JPM, I would definitely take a look at the 135 calls if I can get a break of 132 or 131.97. There's a cross between the 50 and the 100 on the hourly. If we can get that, you can get as high as 136.47. That's your 200-day on the 1 hour. But 135 would probably get us there. Again, you have $3 to get there. JPM doesn't look that bad at all. Let's go ahead and take a look at Goldman Sachs. A little pricier, a little closer to the 200-day. Let's see if we can get above the 200-day around 335.18. If we can get there, take a look at the 340 calls on Goldman Sachs. Citibank as well. You can see the same kind of cross as JPM. If we can get above 55.54, maybe we take a look at the 56 or the 57s. And we take a look at XLF. XLF is a little slower. I rather prefer to play the banks in general. So let's go ahead and move to Wells Fargo. Again, very, very similar moves in these stocks. So for Wells Fargo, we need to get to 50.37. That's above the 200-day. You could possibly target 52 or 53. I would say 52, kind of keep it close with all this volatility. And then one more bank stock I can take a look at is Bank of America. It is cheaper, but again, you need to get above this 200-day around 41.85. So again, we just need to see how the markets do move. Again, we are up pre-market, but that could change in a heartbeat. Yes, good morning. Carmen says, any thoughts on AMD puts? Yeah, AMD puts, I'm putting an alert at 101.31. If anything, more than likely, it's probably going to bounce. So 101.31 is my break level. If we break that, I'm taking a look at the 100 puts. We've been hitting AMD all day last week. I love AMD. I love trading AMD. So again, we hit it 4 times last week. Let's see if we can get this 5th one in about a week with a break of 101.31. What are your expectations for Wednesday FOMC and rate hike? How will the market react? So it's not about what we think. It's more like, again, like you said, how the market will react. I think we're going to get a 25 basis point hike, and I think that should be okay for the market. Everyone is so bearish, that gets me worried that we're going to get a rise on Wednesday. So that probably won't be anything too surprising. So again, all we have to do is just wait for the actual report. But again, I think a 50 basis point hike would be kind of nice to see, because then it shows that the Fed is taking it serious in terms of inflation. But if they do 25, I think it's a happy medium. If they do no rate hikes at all, which I think is very unlikely, then it gets really ugly. But I think 25 basis point hike is enough for the market in the month of March. You have May, you have June, and then we'll see where we go from there. But I expect volatility, but again, it could get just chopped that same day. So I hate to trade that number. I hate to trade that report. That's at 2 o'clock on Wednesday. So let's see what we get. Do you think I'll have a chance to get into the MU put? Unfortunately, I don't think so. I think we're probably going to get it in the morning, first thing. So we'll see what we get. I mean, let me see where we are at on that trade. I had a really good week last week on it too. Micron was a nice put setup. Yeah, we're up about 11%. I still have a runner on AMD 104 puts. So yeah, MU is probably going to get 40 this morning. We'll go ahead and leave it there. Thoughts on Apple puts? Let's take a look at it. Apple broke down below 155. That's the only problem. If anything, I'm expecting a bounce right off support. So if anything, I'm playing calls if I break 153.62 and target 155. Puts, I mean, you have to get below this level here, 151.45. Let's do 151. Let's do 151.14, I guess, or 151.20. If that breaks down, then we just have to take a look at volume, because if we do break out our daily chart, you could see we're right there. We actually are below the 200-day, so we have a target of 147. That's your next Fibonacci level, and that's big. That's next support. So I'm expecting possibly a slight bounce on Apple right at the open, and then we'll see if we can get that, possibly get a quick calls on it. If not, see if we get a little more downside and see if we can short. But Apple's going to be a difficult one, that's for sure. You're pretty much in no man's land. You're right in the middle. In history, on the day of rate hikes, our market's usually red. Not entirely. Just depends on the situation. It's really situation to situation. Do you think the Nasdaq will year green? I do. I do think the Nasdaq will end the year green. Absolutely. Do you think stocks like Draftkings and Penn will retrace to all-time highs? I do. Not this year, and possibly not next year. It's going to take some time. But again, gambling is going to be a little more accepted. If we had a recession, knock on wood, I don't think we will. Again, what better way for states to raise revenue than to legalize gambling? Because gambling and cannabis stocks, or cannabis, that's a really great way for the states to raise revenue. Look at Colorado. Look at New Jersey with their gambling revenue. These states will figure it out fast that they need money, and forget morality. They need money. That's all that matters at the end of the day. All right, guys, we'll go and leave it there. Make sure you hit that like button if you like these videos. We'll catch you guys later today for the aftermarket recap. Have a great rest of your morning. Let's make it a great Monday. Cheers, guys.